Hey everybody, it's Shelly. I'm back. After a little over a week, I've had a whirlwind time getting trained as a cast member at Disneyland again. I'm really happy that I was able to go back. I can't tell you a lot about it, but I can tell you some things because I know there's a lot of curiosity out there about what it's like to be a cast member at Disneyland. And we don't call it working, we call it making magic. Maybe it's just terminology, but it does change a mindset when you talk about making magic at a place rather than just working at a place. I have to say, after having been a trainer in the workplace for as long as I was in the corporate sector, Disney does a phenomenal job of setting up onboarding for people. You really are taken care of. You're given the full picture. Since this is not the first time that I've come into the Disney family, I knew what to expect, but they have gone back to some more hands-on and in-person type trainings than they had during the pandemic when I was there the last time. So we were able to get into the park more, which is great for people that haven't played a role at Disney before because they interacted with guests. We were able to get into the park a couple of times and interact with guests, talk with guests, which I've done before, obviously, having played a role at Autopia, which is one of the best attractions in Tomorrowland and in the whole park, I think. It might be old-fashioned, but it's really fun, and the people there are great. One of the things I really appreciated about the onboarding process was learning the history of the park and really understanding what it took to get everything put together. You really gain an appreciation for what happens behind the scenes. You know, once the guests leave, everything that's done to get it prepared for the next day is absolutely phenomenal. Nothing stops. The park never stops breathing. I mean, it is being cleaned and prepared all the way up until guests walk through the door the very next morning. So it's not like just shutting off the lights after a restaurant closes, which is what a lot of people are used to. This place has so much going on and so much that has to happen in order for it to be ready the next day. It takes a lot of people for it to function. So I wasn't surprised at the number of people that were in our training session that day, an auditorium full of people, and learning about the number of those sessions that were going on to get the park ready for the season that's coming up, not just the summer, but also coming up in the fall. So my role this time is as a candy maker, which you would think, oh, that should be easy for somebody who's been a baker and done pastries and things like that. Well, I've done some confections in my role as a pastry chef and baker, but nothing at this level. I mean, you're talking about buckets and buckets and buckets full of brittles and toffees and the Tinker Tails and the apples, the dipping of the apples. Let me tell you, there's a lot of dipping of the apples, but all the processes that go into place. Learning how to do those things, there is a process. And it's going to take me practice. Now, I'm getting checked off on all these things and getting rated on how I do. And I have to say, I'm pretty good at it. But again, that's because I've had practice doing certain techniques that relate to them. Somebody just walking in the door that knew their basic math and things like that could still do this job, but it would require a lot more practice. And they can still do it, but I think it's a lot of fun. I enjoy the people. Again, they're a lot like the crew that I worked with at Autopia. Really a very diverse group, and that's what I love about playing a role at Disney, because one of the 5 keys is inclusion. And so you can walk through the park and look at all the people playing roles, and you can see all heights, sizes, shapes, colors. And if you were to delve into their backgrounds and personalities and their ways of life, you'd see every end of the spectrum as well. and abilities. There are people that have physical disabilities. So pretty much all are welcome. I mean, it's really amazing. They can find a place for everybody in the park to do what they can do to make a living, which I think is pretty cool. Another thing I want to mention is there's always controversy about Disney, and no company is perfect. So I'm not going to sit here and bandwagon Disney or any company for that matter, because God knows, as people who know me well, know that I've had my share of displeasure with corporations. But I have to say that with some of the difficulties they've dealt with over the last probably 10 years, and currently with politics, and then there's some issues in the entertainment side, they're doing their best. I mean, you can't please everybody. We learned that from President Lincoln. You certainly can't please everybody. But I think they're doing what they can do. As far as the prices go, don't know what to tell you. Can't answer that question. Can't solve that problem for you. Can't get you into the park for free, so don't ask me. Can't get you discounts, so don't ask me. That's a question a lot of people will ask Disney cast members. Can you get me into the park for free? Can you get me discounts? Don't ask us. We have very tight parameters around this. And while I know Disney cast members and stuff that will do things like that, it's against the rules. And I, for one, play by the rules because I want to keep my job. I like my job. I want to keep my job. This is my second time coming back, and I want to keep it. The rules are there for a reason, and we should abide by them, and please don't ask us to break them. So if you know a Disney cast member, please don't ask them to break the rules by getting you into the park for free. Now, if you're a family member of a Disney cast member, that's different. But when it comes to buying merchandise, we can buy merchandise for ourselves. We can buy merchandise that we intend to give as gifts for like the holidays, but we can't buy merchandise and then, you give us money for it. I have seen a reseller on eBay who sells Disney merchandise that I'm pretty sure they get from the Disney team store, and they resell it. And I don't know how they're doing it, but it's wrong and they shouldn't do it. So I'm all about doing things the ethical way. And I think everybody should do things the ethical way. And on our job sites, we're not allowed to take food home. If food is offered to us by the management, that's different. But if we want to have a ticker tail, if we want to have a coated apple, we come into the park on our day off with our pass, and we buy the merchandise. That's what we do. So that's just part of the perks. We do get our own passes that allow us to come into the park so many times, and we have a pass that allows us to bring our family into the park so many times, which is really nice. Sometimes we get complimentary passes. Now, those complimentary passes we are allowed to give away to people. We don't get very many of those, and so we can give those away. That's a whole different thing. And again, don't ask us for them, because since we get very few of them, we're going to only give them away to so many people. But on another topic, the training at Disney is really great. They give you lots of opportunities to watch and try and practice the techniques, and then they send you off to do your job in the park. As a candy maker, there are a lot of different locations in the park where you can make candy. So there are different candies and treats that are made at those different locations. There are production kitchens where they make pretty much all of those things. So you might be doing a certain type of apple or treat for the most part of the day, or you may be sent to a location, a show kitchen, where there's a window and people can actually watch you do it, which I think can be a little intimidating when you're first learning to do it. But having worked at attractions and liking being in front of people, I don't think that'll be a problem for me. I think it'll actually be pretty fun. On some other notes, I've been doing a lot of sewing lately. I do have a couple of jackets that are still available, so if you are on my Instagram and Facebook, you've probably seen them up there. I do need to get them out of my inventory because I have to make room for other things that are coming. I have a lot of textiles that have to turn into jackets. I have been playing with some bag patterns, looking for a pattern that is nice but also easy to put together. And some of the patterns are really cool, but they're just too complicated. Not hard for me to do, but just take too much time, or maybe they have too many working pieces. I would like to try to get away from zippers, just because while zippers are nice, it's just more that you have to deal with when you put something together. So I want to be able to use the leftover fabric to put into other things, and I think small bags might be something. So there will be some other things like those bags coming. I might be giving some of the small bits of material away to some quilters who need some small bits, but other than that, I need room. So those two jackets are available at a big discount, and they're going to be up there and available. I hope to get them out of my inventory as fast as possible this coming week, let's hope. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I will post again in the next few days. I think there's going to be some fun things coming up. I'm not sure yet. I have some things in the works, but we'll see. I did want to bring up a topic, and that is about what the month of June seems to be about for some people. It is Pride Month for a lot of people, and that is an important month for many. Some people think of it as wedding month. That is important for some people. There are many religious holidays that come up in June. So June can be an important month for many people. Keep that in mind. Be respectful. It's important for somebody. It could be birthdays. It could be an anniversary of a death. It could be a wedding anniversary. There are a lot of things that can be important for people in the month of June, for any month, as a matter of fact. Be respectful, okay? Just because you may not think it's important doesn't mean it's not important to someone else. And there's no need to disrespect it or crap all over it. Just because you disrespect it, just because you don't believe it's important, there's no reason to crap all over it, okay? So leave it alone. If it's not important to you, just walk away and leave it alone. I think if we were to do that more in life, as long as it's not hurting someone else, and frankly, Pride Month isn't hurting anyone. Let's just be frank about it. Someone's birthday isn't hurting someone. Someone's wedding anniversary isn't hurting someone. Someone's religious holiday isn't hurting someone. So let's just walk away from it. If it's not something that's important to us, we can just walk away and let them celebrate. Let them have their time in solitude and reverence. If they want to have a parade, let them have a parade. If they want to have solitude and silence and quiet in their own way, let them have that. When we have our own holidays or whatever, we have them. There are a lot of things that are celebrated, that have been celebrated in public for a long time, and that we just let it happen and let it keep happening and no one says a word. And there are whole groups of people that get ignored, and it's time for groups of people that have been ignored to be allowed to celebrate their existence and celebrate their oneness within themselves and amongst themselves, and be recognized as unique and beautiful and worthy. So happy Pride Month. Happy whatever it is you're celebrating this month. And if you are if it's a solemn occasion, then Mazel Tov, may your higher power be with you and bless you. So with that, I bid you adieu and have a wonderful rest of the week.